I want to bid a shalom to the bride of the Messiah, a shalom to the, sorry about to skip over a group. I want to bid a shalom to the 144,000, and a shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel. For you are the bride of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom. Well, this evening I bring unto you part 3. And before I read the title again, I had mentioned some people names in part 2, and you may want to reach out to them. These are people that I found to be real, to be truthful, and they have some powerful testimony, things that doesn't line up with the Bible, things that you probably can relate when you hear the testimony that many do not believe, but we know is true. The word says so, and we have many witnesses here in the earth that can testify to that. So let us let me take you to some of these groups. Sister Cassandra, I want to go to her page last, but let me take you to Sister Veronica. Sister Veronica got a very powerful testimony, and how can I describe her with her gift? Like a seer, but also she can share with you about other things that she had encountered spiritually. And her group is named, let me see, can I find it? Here you go. Wake up. Waking the indigenous people of the 12 tribes of Israel. So take time now to pause your screen, because that way you can reach out to her if you want to fellowship with her or hear her testimony. Okay. Another group, well, another person, a group. Let me see here. I'm trying to get to my list. Oh, also that I found a sister with a beard as well. Her name is Sister Precious. Her group name is, go to the side. Oh yeah, here you go. Can our testimony yield? Can our testimonies yield? And that's COTY. And her name is Sister Precious. And I'm trying to see how I can pull her name up. Let me see. Here you go. It's right down here. Sister Precious. I don't want to mispronounce that middle name, but her last name is Basher. Basher. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And then the next group, I want to take you where you can find Sister Cassandra. That is the sister that was getting to heaven. Let me see, can I get there? I have to go back. She was taken to heaven. Let's see. Go back one more. Okay. Our group name is, here we go. Black descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel in the U.S. Okay. So those who's on Facebook, you can reach out to her through that group as well. Okay. And I got one more group I forgot to mention. This is under Sister Mayapa. As she also too has a powerful testimony as well. You can reach out to her. She indeed no fig leaves. Now she had about 2 or 3 other groups. That's one of the groups, but that group that I'm thinking about is called No Fig Leaves. Okay. Let me see, can I pull it up? Okay. Here we go. no fig leaves. Okay, and that is her group. So you can reach out to her as well. Let me go to this part of my timeline. So, because again, if you're trying to reach out to them, let me go into my friends, and I'm just going to type in. Here you go. This is one of the brothers I was talking about. Brother David. He has a beautiful spirit, a beautiful testimony. He also can witness unto you about the Holy Spirit baptism and how it took place. Okay. Oh, it's beautiful. I tell you about Sister Cassandra Beth Math. Okay. I tell you about Sister Precious. Let me see. Can I put up? Here you go. Sister Veronica, chair of board. That's another one. I'm trying to think of some more brothers. Oh, brother Gael. Yeah, that's another one. I enjoy some of his word as well. Well, I enjoy how he bring out those hidden scriptures. You know, those gems, brother Mikael. Here we go, brother Mikael Israel. He also has a group on Facebook, and that group is dealing with the walls of Jericho. I'm gonna see, can I pull that up? Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see if this is this group. Walls of Jericho have fallen. So he also has a group also on Facebook. Okay. You can also meet him. He is on YouTube as well. Okay. And I think his channel is named Hebrews in the Hood, something like that. I'm gonna try to pull that up. Let me go back to my timeline. But I do want to share this with you right quick before we begin in part 3. Sister sent me another hidden gem, and if it's the Father will, it will relate to another book I have found that was written by the Europeans that would prove what was in Josephus, that would give you the description of the Messiah's true image. And it does match up to what the prophet Isaiah said about him. But I want to play this for you, okay? Because I'm going to hit love on this one. I just love how the Most High is bringing out his truth in these last days, that the heathen has lied, okay? They've been lying for years, but now truth is out, cleaning up the mess.
Black color.
Oh, that's right. Let me pause first. I'm going to pause it because I need to take you to this part before we start right here. So, okay, take this time now to pause your screen for that part. All right, now let us begin. I tell you, my sister has a way of finding these hidden gems. Okay, start from the beginning. And this is a ancient Bible. It's even older than the 1611. So take a look.
So, this is 15th century manuscript. Sometimes, it's amazing that, people in the 15th century were, aware of color. All the saints, even the Virgin, is painted black. Even today, we don't find such paintings in churches, in always, a bright color, not black color. So it has to be studied very, very well, this type of documents. Look, even the evangelist, this is Matthew.
So we already know. Let me hit cancel on that. We already know the heathen's going to twist this, but this is for the believers who are the disciples of the Messiah, or who are the bride of the Messiah, and we know we follow truth. But that is a nice hidden gem that my sister found to share with me, which I will later on expound upon on if it's according to the Father will. But you can find that on Facebook under Judah Awakens 28, okay, on that post. And I also share that post on my timeline as well. So let me get out of this now. I'll close this down. Okay. Let me see. Can I move this screen up? There we go. Either in part one, part two, I mentioned Brother Aaron as well. He's the one that did break down on the Messiah lineage that is written in Matthew chapter 1 in the book of Luke. Okay. And he did a good breakdown on that. And he does have a video. Let me see, can I just go to his videos? He does have a video with several videos proving how he did to the Sefer Publishing Company and told them about the error that was in their book. Okay. And let's see here. If I can't find it right now, what you may have to do, you may have to reach out to him. I can't remember if he's on Facebook. Let's see if he has a way where he can be reached. Yeah, he do. He has an email. And yes, he is on Facebook as well. So you can click those links and get in touch with him. Okay. So that was Brother Aaron. And let me see, can I find Brother Mikael page? Let me see, how can I do this? Here we go. Let me go here. Here you go. I'm talking about Hebrews in the Hood. Hebrews in the Hood. I had enjoyed a couple of his videos too. He has found some hidden gems when he was coming against the heathens or coming against false doctrines when it comes to when it comes to proving who is Israel. Okay, but the word is the word of Yah. We know that until the Father get His honor and glory first, they would not know who we are. Okay, until that part is fulfilled. Right now, it's only for the remnant, the righteous, who has received the whole truth, and it's for the Israelites. Okay, right now. But for the rest of the world, they would come in later to know who we are. I'm sorry if I talk a little slow or whatever. Just had a long day. Okay, which brings me to this. Thank you, Father, for reminding me. It is very important to know where we are at in this calendar, because the calendar will relate to biblical prophecies. Okay, and it'll give you an idea what season we are in. We are in the seventh day from Adam, which is the 12th date from creation. And you will have access to this calendar. It is free unto you, no charge. So you can look at those scriptures and do a further study with the Most High Yah under the teaching of His Spirit, who is the Comforter, the Messiah. Okay, and the date for today is on the Most High calendar. We're in the second month, known as Ziv. Okay, and this is the month where the Sabbath was given unto the nation of Israel. Okay, and Ziv means brightness. And according to the Most High format, we don't have pagan names for His days of the week. But right now, we just have day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, etc. So today we're in the Sabbath because the phase of this day that I'm in now is night. Okay, and we know the Sabbath. The Sabbath is the seventh day. It's a holy day unto the Most High Yah. Far as the week of the moon, we are still in the first week of the moon. And tonight, when I looked at the heavens, I saw a beautiful moon tonight. And it was a half moon. So that's the phase of that the moon is in on this day. We are still counting towards Pentecost. So we are in the third Sabbath count. Okay. And on the heathen's day, on Satan's day, which is his calendar, the Most High Day falls on May the 30th at sundown. I'm sorry, not May 30th. April the 30th at sundown. Ending on May 1st at sundown. Okay. Remember, the Roman calendar, which is Satan calendar, is the opposite of the Most High. Okay. They start from midnight to midnight. The Most High starts from sundown to sundown. But He is the Father of light. As far as the day of the sun, we are in the sun's second month and 12th day. And as far as the day of the moon, we are in the 8th day of the moon. Take this time now to pause your screen to take a look at that. Okay. Now for part 3. So the title of part 3 is the same like as 1 and 2. I sinned, I fell, but God got me up. My confessions, Ytyyah. Subtitle is If you fall, repent, sin no more, and get up, for you belong to Yahuwah and not to Satan. Right now, we're going to hold all comments until we get to the final piece of my confessions. I just want you to take this time to meditate, hear the message, okay, from my confessions. Hear what Yah is telling you, okay, through my confessions. If you really need to reach out to me, or you really need to say something unto me, you can reach me at my email address, which is followingthemessiah378@gmail.com. Okay. Also check the video description box, but you will have access to Yahuwah's calendar, as access to his prophetic message, and also check in this video in the right hand corner, look at the letter I, and you can click on the playlist. Okay, now we're done with that. So now we are looking at, let's close some tabs out that I don't need. Part 3. Oh shucks. I closed out something that I didn't need to, but if I need to bring it up, I just bring it up later. So I just need to make sure I didn't leave anything out. So I already introduced you to some of the brethren and sisters that you can reach out to. I found them to be real, to be truthful. I also found, like, such as Brother Aaron or such as Brother Mikael, how they what's the word I'm looking for? When it's dealing with certain subjects or certain topics, I was very impressed on how they was able to go in the Word and to show you the proof on certain things. Okay. Now I don't know about all their doctrines, but the ones that I have watched on, the videos I have watched on, that's what I'm talking about. I can't say on everything. Okay. Let's see what else here. Looking at what the followers remind me to mention. Let's see. before we start in part 3. The warning. Okay. Please do not break up my confessions. Please do not take a part of my confessions and run with it. For I may give one part in a part and another part in another part. Okay? If you share my confessions, you must share the link or the playlist link to all of them. So that way the person can hear it from beginning to end. And the reason why I'm asking you to do this, my brothers and sisters, because when you deal with the children of Satan, when you look at how they dealt with my ancestors and also with the Messiah, they like to take your words and twist them and to make the people think you are saying one thing when you're not. Okay, so that's why I'm saying to you, do not break up this confession. Make sure that you give the person the link where they can hear it from beginning to end. Okay, now dealing with part 3. This is the part now we're going into my 4th husband. Okay, and I'm just going to use his Hebrew name. His name is YAHUAH, and YAHUAH means to teach. Okay, now when I look back during the time from my 3rd husband to my 4th husband, I forgot to mention to you that in that part of my life, I was into, what's the word I'm looking at? I was building wealth. When I say wealth, I'm not trying to get rich, but just being comfortable. When I learned the system of the 4th beast, I learned how to get my money back. And I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by that. I learned about taxes. I learned how to operate in taxes the legal way, not the illegal way, the legal way. Okay. And through that knowledge, I began to understand a lot of things. Prior to that, Father gave, Abba, who is Yah, gave me understanding about even life insurance. For some reason, I was able to see when a person was selling me junk to what was valuable. And with one insurance agent, I remember I impressed him so well. He was like, "You are very intelligent." And again, this comes from Yah. Okay, so one of my gifts is that I'm good in finance. I never have been the type to be a spender. I always been a type to be to save. And when the Most High Yah gave me understanding about getting out of debt, that's what I was on the goal, to get out of debt, to be comfortable, because I learned that how can we help our fellow brothers and sisters if we are in debt. Okay, but having that knowledge, even with my first husband, to my second and third, and even to my fourth, I was the type to look at us being one. There's no such thing as his bill as being his bills and my bills being my bills. No, I look at us together as being as one. And because I am a woman, and a woman come from Adam, and we are the helpmeet. I I helped my husbands as far as that, because that was my gift. Such as I was working. I mean, I when I look back, I was helping them to. Okay, in my first marriage, it was us together. So I was trying to get him to see that let us pay off our debts before we have children. Okay. But with the second and third and even the fourth, I would say, well, for example, I had to give you an example. With my second and third, the home that we was living in belonged to me. So what I did for my husbands, I told them, I said, look, don't worry about the mortgage. I got that, because also it was rental property. It was 2-in-1. I told them, take this time now with your extra money and pay off your debts. Get out the hole. I never touched their money. All the debt with the numbers. I said, this, let me see your pay stub and I can show you how to work it. So that was my gift on that. Okay. And little did I know, when we read the scriptures yesterday, not yesterday, and when we read the scriptures in part 2 from the book of First John chapter 2, the path I was going on was leading me away from Yah. Okay. even during that time when I wasn't right with y'all, when I know I wasn't doing right, I didn't play church. In other words, you didn't see me and you didn't hear me. Okay. However, like he always does, he sent a messenger, and he was a messenger, and the prophetess sent word. Okay, told it to my mother, and my mother told me. The father said, "Stop running from him." Okay, at that time, didn't listen. I tell you, and I can, and that brings me to this. I can relate to Jonah. Oh yeah, I can relate to Jonah now. So Yah has a way of getting your attention. Okay, so now that I'm about to go into the part of my fourth husband, it began with him. So now I'm going to take you to the scripture, because I got to open up with the scripture so you can see why this had to be done. Now we get into the prophecy of what the prophetess prophesies over my life on how I would fall greatly, but when I rise up, I would be a woman of Yah. Okay, so when we go to Matthew chapter 19 of the 1611 King James Bible, and there you will see this. I want you to go to verse, for the sake of time, we're going to read verse 20, because everybody know about this chapter and this testimony here. It's about a young man approaching the Messiah, okay? And he wanted to know what he must do to have eternal life, okay? So when he acknowledged to the Messiah that he had kept the commandments from the days of his youth, okay, he asked a question. We're going to read verse 20. He asked this question to the Messiah. He asked him, "What lack I yet?" So he wanted to know, what else do I need to do so I can make sure I can be received and enter into, and I'm sorry, be received to have eternal life. Okay. So we're going to start reading at verse 20. The young man said unto him, "All these things have I kept from all these things have I kept from my youth up. What lack I yet?" Yahushua said unto him, "If thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me." Now, when I meditate on this, I see what the Father was doing unto me. Okay. Again, brothers and sisters, please don't compare yourself to me. Remember, we all play different parts in the body. This is not to make anyone to feel less or anyone to feel greater. Okay. But when I meditate on this verse, I begin to understand why I had to go through my Job and why the Father had to take everything away from me. It's dealing with, he was making me perfect. And what I mean by that, to be a perfect servant unto him, he had to mold me and shape me so I could become that woman of Yah, so I can become his servant. Okay. So it's a deep mystery on this. I mean, not mystery, but a deep spiritual message on this, my brothers and sisters, because many cannot do this. Many cannot. It's only a few that can do this. And I warn people, beware of the things of this world, because the things of this world will keep you from Yah and Yahushua. Okay? To the point that it can cause you to lose your soul, where you won't receive eternal life, but the eternal death, the eternal damnation that is yet to come. Okay? This is why the Messiah warned us about the rich man. He warned the rich man. In other words, it would be harder for the rich man to get into the kingdom of Yah than for the poor. So when you meditate on that, you will understand why. But I don't want to keep talking about it, because I begin to preach on it and then I'll be off subject, and then this video will be too long for part 3. Okay, now that I have that out of the way with the word, and then you'll see how the Father began that work on me so I can be perfect in his eyes. Okay. Again, that perfection don't come by my hand. It comes by the righteousness of Yah. Again, who is that righteousness of Yah? The Messiah. The seed that is in our bowels. Okay, I know you can't see me rubbing my bowels, but it's the seed that is in my bowels. That's what makes me perfect. Okay, but I had to be tried. I had to go through the fire. In other words, he had to purge me, the same way how wheat is purged, that's the same thing. Okay. So from going through the third and fourth husband, I was in the time where I was building my own empire, okay, so I can be comfortable. And I knew how to work the system, y'all. I knew how to work it. I say work it, not illegally, but legally, in the right way. Not in a deceitful way, but in a truthful way. In other words, I was learning their systems. In other words, I was learning the heathen system, and I was taking their system and using it against them to benefit the household. Okay? All right. So I'm not going to go into everything about YAHUAH because I need to get straight to the point so we can get to my present transgressions. YAHUAH was different from all my other husbands. YAHUAH was special unto me, my brothers and sisters. For he was my best friend. He was there for me when my family did not support me and the things that I was going through. In other words, I didn't have, the old saying, how blood is thicker than water. Well, for some reason, for me, when I would go through certain things in life, I didn't have that type of support. I always had to try to figure out on my own. Okay. And today, I'm not mad with them or angry with them. I don't have any grudge against them about that. And I'll talk later on about that in another part. Okay. But this had to happen to get me where y'all wanted me to be. Okay. So this is how your and I became. This is how my relationship with you became very strong. Okay. This what kept me with him. He was my best friend. He understood me. He was so in tune with me that when we had our disagreements, and he was the type, no, we need to talk this thing out. He was very big on communication. And he was the type, do not let us go to bed angry. We need to work this out. So when I felt like I need some space from him, like, how us women get, we get mad and we're like, I gotta go. I just need to get away from you right now because, you're making me angry. But he could find me no matter where I go. He could find me. This is how much he was in tune with me, y'all. Okay. He knew me. All right. So as you see, I'm open up with the good things about him because not everything about him was terrible. So I want to say the terrible part for last. I want you to see what drew me to him. He was very smart. He was a carpenter. As a matter of fact, he was a man that could do all kinds of things. He had many trades behind his name. And when I first met him, he was working on his degree. Later on, he did get his degree. And later on, he did get a better job. But at that time, he was working for himself. Okay. And he helped me with my house. I was in a dilemma, and he helped me get out of that dilemma. I had some work that needed to be done. And he helped me with that, y'all. And even when my third husband was stalking me, he was there for support, y'all. Even with the raising of my son, he showed me the things that I was doing wrong because he was teaching me you can't do that with a boy child. Okay. This man was like the man, he was the one. This was it. I said, Father, this is my soulmate. This is it. He was my friend, my best friend. Mm. So as time went on, I think within that year or the second year of us being together, because we was together for about 6 years, he began to like not confess, but what's that word? Is it profess or whatever? But he began to go out in public and say to people that I am his wife. Okay, so that relationship led into a common law marriage. Okay, and but the problem was with that, we was in a state that do not honor common law marriage. Okay, now I know what y'all gonna say about that. Y'all gonna say, well, you weren't really married to him. You got to hear the testimony to the full end. Even to this day, I still see him as my ex-husband. I still see us as being in that covenant. In other words, we was in the covenant together. You'll see why. When we got into the truth, I won't have to elaborate more on that part, but I need to get you to this part. And when I begin to understand that man have many different laws on what they consider to be married. In other words, why is that one state honor common law and another state doesn't? Why is it that if a man come from another country and he's married, that another country will honor that? You see what I'm saying? Or if a man had more than one wife from another country, they would still honor that. What I'm trying to get you to see, you need to look at man laws. They are very hypocritical. They don't really follow the Bible. Even look at the history of slavery among my people. There was no such thing as a marriage certificate. Which brings me to this. The Father want me to have you to read the book of Tobit. And if you have the 1611, the 1611 give you the precept on why they brought out the pencil and the paper. And it had to deal with when a father only has daughters, okay, then his inheritance would go to his daughters. But here's the catch. His daughters would have to marry a man that's in the tribe. They could not go outside their tribe. Remember, there was 12 tribes in the nation of Israel. So they had to marry a man in their tribe to keep the inheritance within that tribe. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. For those who have a copy of the 1611, you can go to the video description box in this video and click on the link. It's free unto you. But for those who have a copy of the 1611, you will see the precept to understand why in the book of Tobit they brought the pencil and paper. Now get back on track. So when you look at the history in America of my people when they was enslaved, when they was enslaved, they didn't have marriage certificates. When you study the history about the marriage certificates and how that came about, they it was for those who want to marry outside their race. In other words, what the Europeans say, it was against the law for a white person to marry a black person. So they would have to get like permission to do this. They would have to get a marriage certificate. Okay, so that's where the history of all that began. But when you begin to study about the heathen laws, about the beast system, if you get married in their system, then you will learn what comes attached to that. And there is a video on the channel that I was watching that gives you more insight. So to make this short, I want you to hear this, sisters. It can be done. And remember, we're under the curses. And one of the curses that we have to go to the heathens, to get permission on certain stuff. But for those who are the expert in the heathens' laws, we know that it can be done without having to go through their ceremony format. Okay, without having to go through their marriage certificate. But the problem is, if you don't have the right documents or the right way of you going about doing that, where they will honor it, okay, then you're gonna be in a mess. Okay, you won't receive husband benefits. Okay, and like I said, I want to keep this simple and straight to the point. In other words, you'll be left holding the bag, because remember, We do have some brothers and sisters that's go on both ends who have some wicked intentions, and they don't want to be committed. They want to play the committed role, but if things go south or go bad, they want an easy way out and not be held accountable. So in order to go to the heathen courts, whatever way you choose to get married, whether it's common law or whether it's going to another country, you know what I'm saying? Whatever way you decide to become man and wife, you have to make sure that it would be honored in the heathen's court. Okay, so that way when you have a civil matter, you can take it to that court and your rights can be looked out for. That's very important. Okay. However, getting back on track, yes, my marriage to yours was common law, but we was in a state that didn't honor that. Okay. Now you probably say, well, you're still not married. Okay, so let me go to this. What happened when both parties agreed? Remember, both parties have to agree. So those who know Torah very well, when you read Deuteronomy chapter 22, there is a precept that takes you to the Exodus. And what I'm talking about is that when a man rape a woman or humble a woman and he wants to marry her, okay, she's not betrothed to anybody, where she's not engaged to anybody, but he still wants to marry her. He cannot marry her until he gets her father's permission. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. Both parties, the male and the female, has to agree to go in covenant together or to go in marriage together. Okay? Do you see what I'm talking about? So that's what I'm saying to you. But when I came into the truth, and it took me some time to accept it, because I kept telling him, no, we're not married, we're not married, even though we was acting as man and wife. But when I came into the truth, when I was learning about the Bible, then I learned, okay, we confessed it, that we have witnesses as far as them, as far as us telling people we are married. This is my husband, and he had acknowledged me as his wife, and it was consummated. So let me see, witness. All right, I'm see, can I find it? I might pull up on my phone to find it quicker, so you can see what I'm talking about. It's the same thing as making a vow to the Most High. Remember, a contract or a covenant can be verbally or it can be written down. Okay, even the heathens talks about that as well. So let me go here. Let me go. Let's see here. No, it's not here. So let me see here. I'm gonna have to do it on my phone. Let me do it on my phone right quick because I can find it faster. And this was what I'm talking about. The Most High creation can speak and testify that you said it, okay, and that you agreed to it. All right, and here's the proof of what I'm telling you. We'll go to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 26. This is an example, but I know many of the scriptures that will prove unto you and confirm unto you what I'm saying. Deuteronomy chapter 4. We'll go to verse 26. And it says here, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land, whereunto you go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. Okay? And can I find another one? Because I know it's another one. But that is proof unto you that the heaven Because we come from the earth, and the earth is a living creation too. Can witness against you, even the heavens. So once I agreed to this marriage, and I also confessed and told my family, my friends, that this is my husband. And once I told my family friends that this is my husband, that's what I saw him as, my husband, not my boyfriend, but my husband. I know some of y'all disagree, but this is nothing to debate about. Each to their own. And as I go further into this testimony about my fourth husband, you will begin to understand, or what's the word I'm looking for here? See. You will begin to see. Okay. So I tell you about some good things. YAHUAH taught me so much, y'all. This was before we even got into the truth. He taught me about communication. He taught me about how a relationship should be. He was not what's the word I'm looking for? Like, for example, he said, some men put big emphasis on sex, but not him. He was like, okay, at the most maybe an hour or whatever. But what you gonna do for the rest of the 23 hours? Okay. So you and I can have conversation for hours. We just enjoy one another company, y'all. And like I said, the man was just brilliant. He even had gifts. But despite of the good that I saw in him, the evil outweighed it. Okay. As time went on, when I met you, like I said, he was working for himself. And like I said, I'm the type of person, I help you. And as I was beginning to help him based on what he was telling me, based on the time that I thought was true, that's when I would start to lose my possessions. And remember what y'all say. Whatever y'all say, his word did not come back void. So through that's how I began to lose my possessions. Now, if you ever meet my family friends that know me personally, they ever say, that's not like Sean. Sean is very wise. But when the Father speak his word to you and say this is what will be, no matter if I go east, south, north, or west, it's going to happen. Okay? Because he spoke it and it came to existence. So I lost everything, my house, my savings, everything from having him. Okay? Even got into debt for him because I believed what he told me. Okay? So as time went on, he did take accountability. He did acknowledge that he was the reason why he lost everything. I mean, he was the cause of why I lost everything. And because I lost everything, y'all, depression came upon me and anxiety came upon me. Yeah. It was days that I could not get out of bed, y'all. I just want to lie there. Because when you look back in my first marriage, see, I had a way out. I had a plan. I get back on my feet. But with this one, I couldn't get out. I was stuck. Okay. In other words, I didn't have a plan to get out of the hole I was in. I was so deep in debt, it was just too late. I had no way out. So I was start to become depressed. And then anxiety came with that depression. Okay. And when you work in the healthcare field, you have enough stress on your job as well. So as time went on, with my money I had in my retirement savings, I ended up stop working full time. I had to come out, y'all. Another reason why I came out working full time as a nurse, because I had a son and I wanted to come home and be a full time mother. Like I said, I'm telling y'all things as I remember. I don't remember everything exactly, but as it comes to my mind, I'm telling you this. So that's why I came home. I needed a break. I was burnt out from nursing, and I wanted to be full time for my son. I wanted to be there for my son. Okay. And you know what? I don't regret it. I'm glad I did it. All right. So during that time, I can remember real clear in the year of 2014. Now, my husband read many books. Like I said, he was very well rounded. So he understood a lot of things. He understood me. He understood my son. And I'm laughing because, if he's watching this video, he'll probably smile too. And he'll understand why I say he understood my son too. So in the year of 2014, we was looking at, well, even before that, we was even looking at going into Islam, because with Christianity, it was a joke. We know they didn't follow the book. And my husband had a copy of the Quran, and I began to read the Quran, okay? And as time went on, like I said, when you're depressed, I stay in the bed a lot, and I watch a lot of YouTube. Just to share with you some of the things I watch. I love my Igbo movies at that time. I love my Yoruba movies. But somehow, the Father led me to a YouTube video, I can't remember the channel, that gave the history of our people and who we are. And from what I remember, it won't through a camp. It was not through one of the West camps. Because in that documentary, it was talking about our people in the islands as well. I can't remember everything, but when I heard it for the first time, y'all, I began to cry. Because when they read Deuteronomy 28, I immediately knew who they was talking about. And looking back, when I was a young girl, I remember I would say to myself, the people in Exodus sound a lot like my people. And when you look at the testimony of my confession I gave so far, you can see how the Father was prepping me. So that same day when my husband came home, I told him and I shared with him who we are. And he immediately accepted it and came in with me. Okay. And I have to speed things a little bit. So of course, when we entered into this truth, there was no one we could go to. Okay. So what the Father did, and I'm thankful that my husband was wise on this. He told me, he said, we're not going to join anybody. We're going to watch them. Okay. And I'm glad he did that. So we watch every video from the camps. And we watch any other video of any other Israelite. Okay. And during that time, the Father would give me dreams, and I can't go over every dream for the sake of time. But as I was among these Pharisees, Sadducees, and Herodians of today, he warned me about them. And looking back, now I understand why he had me first to start out with them and why he gave the warning. I just want to make a long story short. He wanted me to see how they operate in the same manner as those that we read in the Bible. How they would twist the Messiah words, twisting the scriptures, like how a serpent twists his prey to bend it to his will. That's the same way. And he had me to go in this very same books that they went into and to see how they was able to lure people to them. Okay? Remember what I'm telling y'all. The beast knew we were going to wake up. Therefore, he set traps, stumbling blocks, where you have part of the truth and not the whole truth. And the only way, my brothers and sisters, to get the truth, you're going to have to read this book for yourself, but you're going to have to be under the teaching of the Spirit, the Messiah. Okay? Remember, flesh cannot teach you. It's the spirit of Yah that should teach you these things. Which brings me to this. When you look at the history of my people, I want you to read Isaiah chapter 3. And when you read Isaiah chapter 2, it's like a summary, because when you are thoroughly read in the Bible, when you look at the history of the kings and the history of the priests of Israel, you would learn that most of them led my people astray from Yah. They led them into idolatry. Therefore, the nation committed adultery against the Most High. Okay, they was cheating on the Most High. It was under the male rulership. Therefore, my brethren, when the Father said that women shall rule over you and your children shall be your oppressors, that verse, the reason why Yah did that, because he was getting your attention. He always caused something to occur that's out of the order, something that's against Torah, against what he set up to get your attention, such as Isaiah walking around naked. Okay, he always gave a sign unto the prophets, and some of them signs was out of order. But the reason why it was out of order was to get your attention, Israelites. That's how he works. So this is why I tell unto you, brothers and sisters, don't get caught up in the hype against the male versus female. Beware of that. That's another trap from Satan. Okay. So my husband embraced the truth of the Hebrew Israelites, so did I. And while we were learning from them, at the time, as time went on, we learned that they was given the truth, but not the whole truth. In other words, they was not born of the water and the spirit. Okay. All right, on that. So because we couldn't find anyone in our area that understood those things, okay, it was just me and him in this. And of course, my family thought I was in a cult. They didn't understand. Okay, so again, I'm by myself, and my only support system is my husband. All right, even my son father didn't receive it. Okay, and I told him about it. So as time went on, okay, I lost all my possessions. My husband did take accountability for it. He apologized to me. We enter into the whole truth for who we are. Okay, so we know everything coming into place now. Also, like I said, and I also came out of work. Okay, and I want to give credit to my son father when I did call him, and I let him know that I'm no longer working full time. That's right. I also went into my into another trade, which was natural hair care. Okay, I went into that adventure. So when I let him know that I would need his help with putting like insurance and stuff on my son, he did it. Okay. Not everything, like I said, with my ex-husbands, not everything about them was terrible or bad. Remember, there's good and evil in us, in all of us. Okay. But sometimes for some people, their evil overcome their good. Okay, it's that inner strife. All right. So I got to that point. So because so as time went on, I think by 2015, that's when things were really getting worse. During that time, my son father pursued full custody of my son. Again, he didn't know what was going on with me now. He didn't know I had was about to get to the low point. He didn't know about me losing my possessions. And to sum that matter up, later on, I did come to find out that the powers of darkness was used in that matter. The way that court case went down, y'all, it wasn't right. Okay? The powers of darkness was used. That's all I can say right now. I have to keep this short and keep it straight. So I was never served the papers. Therefore, he was able to go into court to get what he wanted. He basically lied to the judge. So when I reached out to the courts, and they even was aware, because they got those papers back, they didn't overturn the judgment. Okay. So make a long story short, I tried to talk to my baby, my son, but kids are impressible. Whatever their parent tell them, they're gonna believe it. And he thought life with his dad would be better. Okay. So my husband was very wise. He said, let him go, because it's time for him to spend time with his dad. Let him see his dad for himself. Okay. So I was doing with that in the midst. And at the same time, my money was running low. And with my husband working for himself, money was never on steady. We had some rough spots. But the good thing is that we was together as a family. So, like I said, my husband got custody of my son. Only had visitation rights. So my son ended up going off with him. So the father, in other words, I'm just paraphrasing. So I got stripped of my son. Okay. Then, as time went on further, we could no longer stay in the place we were renting. So we had to stay in a hotel for a while. And then we end up in living out a vehicle for a while. But it was okay, y'all. I loved it. It taught me how to survive, y'all. I mean, it set me free. And the thing was, me and my husband was together. So as time went on, eventually he reached out to his family, and we ended up staying at some of his kinsfolk's house. And they had a 2-story house, or let me see. Yeah, it's 2-story, because we stayed in the basement and they stayed upstairs. So okay, so we ended up eventually got some shelter. Again, I was at stay home full time, because again I was still dealing with depression and still dealing with anxiety. Now the Father reminded me that I need to back up. It's something that I forgot to tell y'all. Also in our marriage, I did get pregnant. This was before me losing my son. It was before us becoming homeless. Okay. I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, it was still at a time that was not a good time, because I was very depressed. And when you're depressed and pregnant, you know what the thoughts was going through my mind? I said, I don't want to have this child. That's the kind of thoughts I was having. And I was even considering aborting him. Okay. So I think I didn't go to the doctor until, I think about a month or two later. I can't remember, but some time passed before I went to the doctor, because I knew that once I saw my baby on that screen, I was not going to kill him. Abortion is murder. Okay. I wasn't going to kill him. So when I saw him on the screen, and as the doctor was looking, he saw some things. He said to me, I'm going to send you to a specialist, because I see some things. I'm concerned. And I said, okay. And again, at the time, I'm still working as a nurse. And one thing I remember about my baby heartbeat. My baby heartbeat was 154. So I go to the specialist. They put me on, the ultrasound machine. And the specialist didn't like what they saw. My baby had tumors throughout his whole body, in his kidneys, in his neck. And forgive me, I don't mean to say my baby, our baby, because he was there. He was supportive. And they told me that he wouldn't stand a chance. He wouldn't survive. He would suffer. And because of my lack of faith, and because what I seen in the healthcare world, I didn't want my baby to suffer. So, I think they call it a DNC. I can't remember the proper medical term, but I remember the word DNC was used. I had to have that procedure done, and my husband was there with me. It was a painful procedure. But when I look back, I killed my son, our son. I killed him because of the lack of faith. Because later on in my life, I was watching a talk show, and this lady was giving a testimony about her child, and they too saw things wrong with her child. But with her case, she had faith, and she said, not so. And when the child was born, a miracle took place. The child was healthy. And I'm telling y'all this because I know what was right and wrong. But because of my lack of faith at that time I was not in the truth. I didn't know about the Hebrew Israelites. Okay. However, I still knew about the commandments and stuff. But because of my lack of faith, and because I didn't seek out YAH, I killed my baby, our baby. And you know what his name would have been? Deshaun. Deshaun. So as you see on these hands, I have blood on these hands. I have blood. Not only my son's blood, but the Messiah's blood, because my ancestors cursed us. What they say to Pontius Pilate, when Pontius was telling them that this man is innocent, they told Pontius, put his blood upon our heads and our children's heads. So I have broken the commandment, thou shalt not kill. And as I meditate on this, I know my son is in a better place, because when I read those testimonies in the past, or where do the unborn child go, or the child that died, they go to the heaven, to the area where they're raised. So if I make it into the new eternal kingdom, one of the things I request from my Father in heaven, I want to see him, and I want to tell him I am sorry that I did that to him, and that he didn't deserve that. So in reality, I have two sons. I have two kids. And what I'm just sharing with you now, my family don't even know this. So those who know my family, I'm asking you. I'm going to tell them, but I'm asking you to honor my request and let me tell them. Okay? So as time went on, me and your homeless were staying at his kinsman's house, or kinsfolk's house. And I am so happy. And Yor have to give. Yor can tell me things that would come to pass. And he comforted me when it came to my son not being in my custody. And he told me it's gonna work out. You'll see. And everything he told me has come to pass. Okay. So from that point, with just me and him, Europe begin to, what's the word? I don't know when it started, but sometimes it'd be mean to me. He would come home from work, and I'd be so excited because I want to share with him what the word taught me. Because, like I said, when by me not working, I was full time at home. That was the time when I'd just be submerged in the word. So when he get home, sometimes he would just tell me, "Look, I don't want to hear the word. I don't want to hear all that. I just want to come home, spend some time with my wife, and us to watch some documentaries." And his thing was he loved those crime documentaries, those gangster documentaries, those documentaries of how men would con, not men, but those con documentaries, real life stuff. And sometimes I had to tell him, I said, "Look, I'm tired of all this blood and killing. Can we watch something else?" But I too learned a lot from those documentaries. Like I said, I've been sheltered, and he had to teach me about a lot of things about life because he told me you are too naive, you know, and he also told me that you fall in love too quickly, you know. So he taught me a lot. But as time went on, he began to treat me evilly, and like I said, I'm trying to remember some things. And because of our finances, nothing I noticed, he didn't know how to take me anywhere, but I was okay with that because I understood the situation. And besides, I was happy because, we was together. So I'm trying to think what else I need to tell you. Also, too, I began to notice that certain bad things would begin to happen to him. And sometimes I would question why is that by him working for himself as a carpenter, because he gifted now. He do beautiful work. Why is that he would have troubles with monies, you know? So, and then one time he showed me an account that he had. I didn't know he even had it. And when I saw how much money in there, I'm like, well, why are we struggling? I forgot the reason what he told me, but when I get as I talk more about him, I get to that part of what he did with some of the money. So in the year of, I think it was 2017, he had to do some type of big work project as a carpenter. So he said, "Look, how about since I have to be away for a while?" Was it that time? I can't remember. No, it wasn't that time. Anyway, somehow he ended up saying, "Well, how about and take some time and go fellowship with one of your sisters in the truth." I said, "Okay." So one of my sisters been meaning for me to come out there and spend some time with him. So my husband booked the ticket, and I went out to California. And what was supposed to be a 2-week trip ended up me being there permanently. And I'll talk more about that, how that happened, how that came to be. So everything's good, and I forgot to mention this part. Before I went out to California, I noticed sometimes bad things would happen to him, such as I use this for example. We slept down in the basement, and there was no bed in the basement, so there was like a couch set. So I would sleep on the blow up mattress, but it was a single blow up mattress, and he would sleep on the couch. And one morning he woke up and his whole back was like a prickle pickle. It was like something tore him up. And then he looked at me. He said, "Did anything bite you?" I said, "No, I'm good." And then another day, he would get stung by a bee. I mean, like crazy stuff. I mean, I'm not talking about like typical normal stuff. Stuff would happen to him. And then my husband would say unto me, this out the blue, "Oh, you're such a good woman." He would compliment me. But when he would compliment me, I would hear something in that voice, y'all. I can tell you that spirit in my bowel would say, something ain't right. And before I left to go to California, I remember how he would talk about his second son's mother. And the way he talked about her, I knew right then and there he was still in love with her. But I didn't say anything because I just listened because, like I said, I've been a cheater and I've been the one cheated on. And I know that, everyone can have that certain person in your life that you really care about. So I just listened because that's another thing that my husband taught me. He had to teach me, you need to know how to listen, because if you listen well, you can really read a person and tell them what they all about. Like I said, he would teach me a whole lot of stuff. So I just listened. And I just comfort him, because I know, like I said, there's things in our past. There's things in our past that hurts us or bother us. And sometimes you need a person to listen. So that's what I did. I listened. I comforted my husband when he talked about his son's second mom. So I go to California. Y'all, I'm having a good time. My 2 weeks become more than 2 weeks, because I'm having a good time. So then I got to speed some stuff up. I can't tell you everything because it'd be too long. So then let me see, when it was time for me to come home, I think July, that was the first attempt. I was gonna come home in July, but by that time, my husband had his degree already, and he was working for and he was no longer working for himself. He ended up getting hired, okay, at a job that he worked before, but he was promoted in a different position. So things were beginning to turn for us. And he also was calling with some good news. He also let me know that he had got some land because, that was one of our plans, to live off the land, go back to a simple way of life. So that's where some of the money went to. Not all of it, y'all, because he had a nasty piece of change saved up. So in July, he realized that his job had to send him on a trip. So he gave me the option to come home and just wait for him to get back home, or to stay where I'm at and then come home when he's home. So you know what I chose? I was having such a good time. I said, no, I don't want to come home, look at no four walls. I want to stay in fellowship with my sister. So that's what I did. So as time progressed, like I said, my stay becoming longer and longer now, y'all. So when September came around, that's when I got the answer, the truth about my husband. Oh, I forgot to mention this, y'all. This was way before I went out to California. A sister that me and my husband know, how we met her was on Facebook. She reached out to me, y'all. And what she told me that your, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? In other words, your and her was seeing each other. They was courting. Now, sisters, I wouldn't have a problem with that. And you probably say, huh? You wouldn't. I wouldn't have a problem with that if I had known, if he had told me, because I do believe in polygyny. Okay, and that means when a man has more than one wife. The way my husband did it, he didn't do it according to what's written in the book. Okay, he didn't do it according to that. So yes, a man can still cheat on you, even if you believe in polygyny. Ain't that crazy? I'm going to tell you how this went down now. But let me first expound on polygyny. Sisters, I can understand why that would scare you. And I can understand why you would run from these brothers today. I understand why. Because I see the evils. I see how the spirit of lust is upon them. I see how the spirit of pride is upon them. Because those things that I discussed in part 2, that is what they build those marriage with them having more than one wife on. They build it on upon lust, and they trying, in other words, they pimping out our sisters. Not in a harlot way, but they trying to build their own kingdom or their own empire. So basically the woman is taking care of them. But yet they call themselves a Hebrew. When you come in the whole Bible book, this is what the word will teach you. And that's what I was talking about, the love of Yah. You can see it in the book of Ruth, and you see it in Torah. When a man chooses a wife, it is based off Yah's standards, not based off the lust of his eyes, nor the lust of his flesh. Mm-mm, mm-mm. It's not based off what she can bring to the table either, because they be thinking about building their businesses and their empires. That's the wrong way to do it. It has to be built off the love of Yah and the righteousness. Here's the example. And you see it in the book of Ruth as well. When your brother-in-law died and he was married and he don't have a seed, what are the instructions in Torah on that? That his brother is to take his wife as a wife. He's going to take her as a wife, okay? And give a seed unto her to carry on his brother's household, his lineage. That is the love of Yah. Even in the continent of Africa, where some of our people are at, I had seen this on TV, that when a brother died and he has a wife and kids, his brother would marry the wife so she won't be a widow, and so his children won't be fatherless, so they can be taken care of. That's what I'm talking about. Sisters, you need to know Torah in and out, because these brothers are practicing polygyny in wickedness. They're not doing according to the standards of the Most High Yah. Okay? So I can understand why you want to avoid it. I don't blame you, because what I seen practice out here is not right. It's wrong. It's evil. Even in Torah, it tells us that the wives that he have are to have separate beds. You can't have two women in the same bed with you. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. You need to know that book inside out so you won't be deceived. Okay? Also, too, those brothers cannot put those wives any kind of way. So you're sitting there collecting women like they're a thing. Okay? But you don't understand the mystery why she's a great possession unto you, because it goes back to the image of Adam. Go back to the image of the Elohim head, the Father, the Son, the Ruach HaKodesh, who's the 7 eyes and 7 spirits of Yah, who is basically the mother. Because the Messiah said that wisdom shall be justified by her children. When you understand the heavenly message, the mystery behind why she is a great possession unto you, then you will understand, what's the word I'm looking at? That you're not to treat her as a servant, that you're not supposed to treat her as a thing that you just collected to show off to your brothers and say, look what I got. No, it's not about that. This is how I know that You're not born of the water and the spirit. This is how I know you don't follow the Messiah teachings or instructions. Most of the men of Israel, when you look in our history, most of them would either have one wife or two wives. Such as, for example, Samuel, father had two wives. Okay. The only way a man would have a whole lot of wives was the kings. So when you read Torah, yes, the kings was warned not to have many wives, but he was also warned not to have many what? Horses or treasures. So when you come in the whole Bible book, you have to understand, what is the Father talking about? What do he mean? It goes back to that foundation. What is the foundation you built that marriage on? Did you build it? Did you build that marriage on the righteousness and the love of Yah? Okay. Can you think about, for a brother to take in his brother's wife, it won't based on looks. It was based on the love of Yah, that you want your brother to have a seed to carry on his name. So his name won't be cut off in the earth. Okay. It won't based on how that woman look. It won't based on the shape of that woman. It won't based on your lust, sexual desires. Because when you start doing that and you start collecting a whole lot of women off of those wicked reasons, guess what? You ain't gonna have no peace in your home. You're gonna have problems, and you cannot put those wives away any kind of way. Now you are bound unto them. Okay. That's why that's why the Messiah talked about Moses, because the Father knew your hearts. He knew your hearts. That's why he allowed divorce. But when you read the Messiah's teachings, you begin to understand the reasons or the grounds on which you can put your wife away for, and that is for adultery. Okay, so yes, I do believe in polygyny. I still do, and it will occur. Because when you read the prophecies, like Jeremiah chapter 3, and I know the book of Isaiah, when the Father bring the nation of Israel into the wilderness, a lot of people are going to be cut off, y'all. A lot of people ain't going to make it. Only a remnant going to make it. So with that remnant, they're going to have to what? Rebuild a nation back up again, just like what was mentioned in the book of Ruth. And I think I want to mention, I think I want to go to that verse. Let's go to Ruth right quick. And I'm going to see if I find it quicker for you. Go to the Bible. Let's see. And then you see what I'm talking about in Jeremiah chapter 3. Also, Ezekiel gives you a hint. Yes, they're gonna have wives. It's in there. Because the nation has to be replenished. Okay. So you go to Ruth chapter 4, look at 11. 4:11. I'm just gonna read that verse, and then we can keep it moving. Verse 11, and all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. Yahuwah, the woman that is to come into thy house, with Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Yahusha, and do thou worthily in Ephraim. I hope I pronounced that word correctly. If I do, forgive me. And be famous in Bethlehem. Okay. So what they was saying here, let Ruth be like Rachel and Leah, which them two did build a house of Israel. In other words, they provided the children or birthed the children that will lead to the nation of Israel to be established. That her womb be fruitful. Okay, so it's gonna come, but when it comes, my sister, the Messiah is gonna be there, and it's gonna be done in righteousness. So I understand I understand why you standing back in the corner and say, I don't know about these brothers. They ain't right. I understand, sisters. And the same thing vice versa for you, brothers. I can understand why you are hesitant to take a wife because, spirit ain't right. Heart ain't right. You see wickedness. So I understand. So it go either way. All right. So the young lady came to me, told me what happened when I confronted my husband. He confessed. Now remember, because I had experience too of being a cheater, being the one cheated on, I asked my husband what he wanted. As far as did he want the marriage? He wanted the marriage, and he asked me to forgive him, and I forgave him, y'all. And like I told that sister, I said, well, sis, thank you for telling me. I have no ill feelings towards you. Learn from this and repent and keep moving. But I also told my husband this because, like I said, our men have that pride on them, the spirit of pride on them. I told him that this woman could have came out and blasted you publicly, but she didn't do that. She came to me privately and told me what happened. And if you knew you wanted a second wife, why didn't you come to me first? Why was I was the last one to know about this? Why what's the word? I'm trying to think. I mean, because I look at, I was his best friend. I thought I was his best friend. I thought he was committed unto me. I was like, see, because you left me out, because you like he tell me, I'm the head. Okay. Well, the head got him into some mess. And because I wasn't there, I couldn't be a witness. I couldn't say what happened between them two. So I told him, take this time and learn. And don't be so prideful. Don't let your ego get in the way. Because this book gives us instructions on how that is to take place. So I'm not against polygyny. I'm against those who don't do it in the righteousness of Yah. That's what I'm against. Okay. So you would think my husband would learn from that situation. So as when I'm in California, the month of September, lo and behold, what's done in the dark will come to the light. Somehow you're attached a file that I have access to. Yeah, through Google. And in that file, I saw all those pictures. And when I saw that file, my heart was broken. See, I'd have forgave him for one thing before I went to California. This was like months before I went to California. I'm thinking that we getting past that, and we going forward. So when I saw the file, it broke my heart. In the file, I saw that what the Father showed me before I went to California, he expounded on that. It showed me that he was still in love with his second son's mother. And the reason why he never took me nowhere, because he was giving her everything. Even with that woman he was cheating on me with, he even got some money from her too. So basically what he was doing, the reason why we struggled, the reason why I lost everything, or why my finances went down, he was trying to give her the best. They were looking at houses, cars, jewelry, and I saw some hotel pictures. So he would give her the best. And treated me like I was nothing. So it helped me to understand why he was treating me in an evil way. Why he spoke, harsh to me. Now I understand. Okay. So in other words, he wasn't committed unto me. He was committed unto her. That's where his heart was. But what's so ironic, when he would talk about her to me, the way he would describe her, he would say she's a woman of the world. She equate love to material things. Okay. But with me, I was the opposite of her. So he knew he wasn't in love with me. He knew he wasn't committed to me, but he wanted to hold on to me. Now, ain't that crazy? That was crazy to me. So in other words, he didn't want nobody else to have me because I was the ideal woman. See, he couldn't get what he really needed from her, okay? Because she was a woman of the world. I mean, she was a woman of the world. But with me, he could get that part from me, that what she lacked, okay? Even him being a Hebrew, they was still keeping the holidays. I mean, the pagan holidays. So many days, I'm thinking that he working hard. I'm at the house by myself. Well, I'm at his kinsman's house in the basement by myself. He never took me anywhere. So of course, when I went to California, that was like what's the word? A delight unto me. I ain't go nowhere. Hmm. Hurt me bad. And when I confronted him about it, he did confirm it to me. Basically, he didn't say like word for word. Basically, I told him what I saw based on the evidence that the Father brought in my path, and he agreed. He just said, "I agree. You're right," and that's all I got from him. So now I'm in the state of California among strangers who took me in. The sister I went to fellowship with, um, what's the word I can say? Not words, but some things went down where there was a disagreement. So from that disagreement, I was no longer in her house. I was with at the time I was with her daughter, but then eventually later on I would go with strangers. I was amongst strangers that took me in. And because I didn't have the support from my family, my son was taken, let's see, was it at that time? No, at that time, as the prophecies prophesied, he was back in my own state. So at that time he was in my own state, but my family again was acting strange towards me. So, being rejected. So at the time I said, well, I'll just make a life over here now. So I would stop here, and part 4 would be with me being in California, and hopefully in that part I can wrap it up to my present transgressions. I hope in this part 3 that you meditate on what I say, and that you hear what Yah says is to my brothers and to my sisters, so you won't transgress and make the same mistakes I did. Um, and if you are in a situation like this, seek out Yah and ask Him on what you should do to make things right with Him according to His word. So again, I must say this. As you can see, you cannot build a relationship, well, not relationship, a marriage, a covenant on lies. It's not going to stand. It's going to fall. And Yahuwah has a way of bringing the things out of dark and into the light. And that's what He did for me. He released me of that prison, that bondage with YAHUAH, and He set me free. And when I saw His heart, and I saw yours heart, His heart, I'm not talking about His intentions, I didn't look back, y'all. I said, that was it. I'm done. All right. Sorry this was long, but continue to preach the kingdom, continue to preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 8 and baptize the people in the name of Yahushua HaMashyach, the Messiah. For he set the example of the water baptism and the Holy Spirit baptism. And the apostle continued them both. Shalom.